How you doing? My name is Dr. Lucas, and I want to share with you the importance of water. Over my career of 18 years in chiropractic, I've seen a lot of things, but most important, I've seen water, different products, different drinks, beverages, Gatorades, juices, all of these things. And everybody says it's all for your health. And I realized that I purchased a lot of these things thinking that it was going to improve my health as well. But what I realized that the only thing your body needs is a real good quality of water. And when you start looking at the beverages that we're drinking, there's things that are not found in the bottled waters that should be found in them, like oxygen, electricity, and also something called microclustering, which allows the water to actually get into the cell. When you look at these things, all these waters are void of those things. So now, about 8 years ago, I started drinking this water called Kangen water. And as I drank this water, my health absolutely improved. My arthritis went away in my knees. I started to lose quite a bit of weight. And these are things that I noticed from my own self. I started giving the water to other people, and the same things kind of happened. And as I started to realize these things, there's 3 properties that are found inside Kangen water that are uniquely different and that are not found in the other waters. These things are going to be, one is oxygen. You got to have oxygen. If you don't believe me, hold your breath. You got to have this stuff. These waters are void of all these things. Kangen water absolutely has it inside of there. The second thing is electricity. You got to have electricity. If you think about your body holds electricity. All these waters, they don't have electricity. And the fact that these waters cannot get into your cell because they're too big and too bulky is another reason why I don't drink bottled waters anymore. I want to share with you the truth of what I know about Kangen water so you can get it for yourself and also for your family. Now I'm going to talk to you about water and electricity. What? Water and electricity? It sounds like 2 things that don't go together at all. That's the same thing that I said. When I started researching this information, I said, water and electricity? What are you talking about? Then I started to do a little bit more research to really understand what the company was talking about and what's the difference in water and electricity. Because electricity is actually found inside your cells, it's found inside your body, it actually allows your heart to beat. If you ever get an EKG or ever know anybody that had a heart attack, they go clear and they start you pumping again. Well, what I want to do is talk to you about the waters that you're drinking that don't have enough electricity to allow your body to function. And that sounds weird to a lot of people. It sounded very weird and peculiar and weird to me too. But what I started to realize is that you eat food the same way. If people that are healthy, they're going to eat more green vegetables and things of that nature. People that are not so healthy, they're going to eat maybe more meats and carbs and potatoes and things of that nature. Or it's the same thing with your water. Things that have electricity in them allow your body to function the way that it's supposed to. The more electricity, the better off you're going to be. The least amount of electricity, it starts to drop off a little bit. The food ends up being fillers. And as it starts to happen, it starts to impact your gut, impact your cells. You start to notice things happen. You start to gain weight. You start to get tired. You start to get fatigued. Why? Because all this food, all these beverages, all the alcohol, and all these things are polluting your blood. As these things pollute your blood, eventually it's going to pollute your organs. And as it pollutes your organs, it also pollutes your systems. So it's a timeline. So drinking water, Kangen water, that is high in electricity, a negative charge, an antioxidant, allows your body to recharge itself. And this is something that is essential to life. When you look at life or trees or plants, everything in it has electricity. Without that, it just will not function. So I look at the same functions and same properties when I look at my foods, when I look at my beverages, or anything that I put on my body, because it's the same concept. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you and I'm going to show you how this stuff works. So now I want to share with you what I think is the most exciting part of the demonstration, the part that you can actually see. This is the part that kind of messed me up a little bit because in looking at these waters, you can kind of tell that they're all kind of clear. So you got your Sprite over here, you got your Smart Water over here, you got your Dasani, your Gatorade, a little party juice over here, you got maybe a little Perrier over here, and I've taken the liberty to pour them out just to save a little bit of time. And of course you have Kangen water here, and then you also have tap water. Well, and looking at all these things, what we're looking at is the pH of the water. The pH of your body is 7.365, which means on a scale of 1 to 14, 7.365 is the pH of your body, blood, and also the pH of the ocean. And essentially what we're trying to do is show you how much oxygen is inside of your body or inside of the beverages that you're drinking. Because if your body does not have, or I should say the beverage you're drinking don't have oxygen inside of them, what do you think is going to happen when you ingest them on a consistent basis? So here I have something called Phenol Red. This stuff is called Phenol Red. You probably see it with your pool or your jacuzzi. And normally what ends up happening is your pool guy is going to come around and he's going to put this stuff inside the water, and it's a red dye. And what it's going to do is going to tell you how much hydrogen is actually found inside the water that you're drinking. Hydrogen tells you how much oxygen is inside the water. So on a color scale, if it's red in color, it's very poor in oxygen. If it's higher in the blues and things like that, then it's going to be more alkaline. So here we're going to have soda. I used to drink a lot of soda when I was a kid. But as you can see here, soda is very acidic. I put a couple drops in there and that thing shows up like a bright orange. Okay? Not the best thing for you to be drinking. If you go here, this is smart water. Also very acidic. And what I look at is, we're going to pan all the way over and look at the tap water. This is what most people are getting on a regular basis, which is your tap. So this is your shower, this is your bath. Most people drink about 5 to 8 cups of this water every day just when they shower. So if this is what you're paying for on a regular basis and this comes out to be blue, why would you spend your money on reverse osmosis water? Well, it's because they told you it was better. It is better in the fact that it does not have as many chemicals associated with it, which is good, but also the problem is it takes all the minerals, all the potassium, all the calcium. You've never seen calcium or anything build up inside of these bottles of water because they're void of that stuff. So if it's void inside the water that you're drinking, as you drink this stuff on a consistent basis, this stuff actually strips it out of your body. So now what you're starting to see is people with osteoporosis, and you go to the doctor and they give you these big calcium horse pills on a regular basis because now they're trying to put in what you're taking out on a regular basis. So we're going to continue through it. I'm going to show you, this is Dasani here. I'm going to put a couple drops in there. And then we got Gatorade. I was a big, huge fan of Gatorade. I used to drink this stuff all the time. Got a state championship ring, so you know, when it comes to basketball and Gatorade, I have a long history with that. Everybody knows about alcohol. Puts a smile on most people's faces, I would think. But we're also going to talk here about Perrier, the carbonated water. And again, it's also very, very acidic. I'm going to take the Kangen water. And you can see there's a distinct difference. I call it the royal purple. And what I like about this water is it has the oxygen, it has the electricity, and it has the minerals in it that allows your body to function the way that it should. When you look at the tap water has something in it called lye. Lye is something that they put inside the pipes so the pipes don't rust. And that's why this comes out to be this blue color. But even if you take the tap water looks like it's in better shape than most beverages that you're drinking. These are the things that made me think about it, because the quiet secret is I'm cheap. And I don't like to spend my money on stuff that don't work. Maybe you're the same way, I don't know. But let's take a look at this. If I take now this Kangen water, I've pulled a little bit of this Kangen water here inside of, let's start with the bottled water. Immediately you're gonna see a difference. Why? I'm pouring oxygen, electricity, and minerals back into the water, stabilizing the water, allowing the water to go into your body and function the way that it's designed. Okay? We're gonna do the same thing here. Just a little bit of water, boom, it changes. How does that change? Same thing happens, but again, we're talking about waters, okay? Now let's see what happens when you start putting these carbonated beverages inside your body on a regular basis. I'm gonna need a little bit more water, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour the water inside of here. It's still gonna be that beautiful purple color, but essentially now, we're gonna say that now, instead of you drinking water every day, because I had a friend of mine who used to drink a lot of this Perrier, or carbonated beverages. It doesn't have anything to do with the brand name. It has more so to do with the process of carbonation. It strips everything out of the water and makes the water super acidic. So whatever you do with the water at that point is absolutely destructive. So if I take this water here, watch it closely, I'm gonna pour a little bit in here. And as soon as I pour that in there, over a period of time, you're gonna see it turn back. And I go, wow, what is that? How does that even happen? We're talking about water, and this is in the category of water, but water doesn't do that. So we're going to try it again. And what you're going to see, if you're drinking this Perrier mix stuff we call water, it's not going to do exactly what you thought it was going to do. And that fascinated me. There's a doctor by the name of Dr. Otto Warburg, and what he discovered was the root cause of cancer in 1931. And what he said is Cancer can only survive in an oxygen poor environment. Can only survive in an oxygen poor environment. So if this is oxygen rich, how much water or chemicals or whatever we got to do to get this stuff up to speed, if you know what I mean. If I take the Gatorade. This is stuff I used to drink too. Gatorade, still 10,000 times more acidic than your blood. So as I continuously pour this stuff inside the water, what ends up happening is nothing. And as this process happens over a period of time, what happens is you start to develop things. Because what we're talking about is circulation. And if your body is not functioning the way that it's supposed to, the circulation is going to be off. So it's kind of like the example I use is a freeway. Okay, so I live in Long Beach and I'm going to drive from Long Beach to Santa Monica. Normally that ride is about 45 minutes without traffic. When you add traffic into that, that could be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So what are we talking about? When you take oxygen out of your blood, it takes longer for everything to function. So now if I go here and I pour the water now into the soda, soda is also 10,000 times more acidic than your blood. It doesn't matter how much of this stuff I pour in. It takes about a gallon of water to turn it. And people are wondering why they're sick. This became an issue for me because what I started to look at is health and what habits are people doing. And when I started looking at the habits that people are putting in their body, you know, like myself, this was my little cheat thing. I go play basketball, drink my Gatorade, and kind of go from there. This was my little cheat thing. If I had my pizza, I had to have my Pepsi. And that's just kind of how it went. And I started to realize that the stuff I was putting in my body was doing more harm than good. And this is when my little radar started to go off. And I started saying to people, hey, what if you started changing these things? Because if you take just, I don't even do the alcohol. Pour a little water there. Put a couple more drops in there so you can see the color. But it's not the water. It's not the dye. It's actually the water. But same thing, if I pour it in here, 10,000 times more acidic, and yet it still will not change. What does it do? It suffocates your blood. It makes your blood really thick. It makes your blood really convoluted and non-functional. And then what happens? Things like diabetes may happen. Things like hypertension may happen. All of these things are happening because of what you're putting inside of your body. To me, I always look at health as a cause and effect. The person that's going to work out is going to reap those benefits. The person that's going to change their diet is going to reap those benefits. But the truth of the matter is this: as you start to get older, it's harder to maintain habits or even do something that is functionally good for your body on a regular basis. I know 1 million people have a number of New Year's resolutions they want to have over a period of a year to change their health. But the reality of it is, what habits can you add in on a regular basis to improve your health? This is one of the qualities of the water that make a huge difference for me. And me drinking this water made a huge difference. That's why I'm really, really excited to share it with you. And again, I'm not selling it to you, because if you look online, you can see this stuff everywhere. But the reality of it is this: how many people are teaching you how to do it? So I wanted to share with you the last concept of this water. I've already talked to you about the electricity inside the water. That is phenomenal. The second concept of the water is the alkalinity of the water, the oxygen inside the water. And the last concept of the water wouldn't work unless the water could actually get into your cell. So this concept is that we have here a tea bag, okay? And a tea bag is actually going to represent the cells that you have inside your body. So if you can imagine, a tea bag is, has little bitty holes in it. And every time you go to bed, what ends up happening is you go to sleep, and your body has to rebuild these cells. It has to put oxygen inside of them, has to put electricity inside of them, and also has to flush the stuff out of your cells on a consistent basis. So what we're doing is we're talking about the tea bag as if it was one of your cells. And what we're going to do is we're going to use smart water. Smart water is pretty popular. A lot of people are using it. This is one of the popular reverse osmosis waters. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this tea bag, or I should say a little bit of this water, and pour it into the tea bag. But in order for you to make tea, what do you actually have to have? Hot water. So this water is actually lukewarm. So technically it should not work, and it won't work. So we're going to take this right here and we go boom, tea bag right there, water right there. Look at that, no tea. And you say, well, that's what I expected to happen. That's the same thing I said. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the tea bag out of here, going to put the tea bag over here, and now I'm going to put the Kangen water in here. And when I put this water in here, we're going to see what happens. So this water is actually microclustered. What does that actually mean? It's a smaller cluster of water, makes it easier for it to get in and out of your cell, to eliminate waste, to hydrate the cell, and actually help the cell recover, which actually ends up being what your body needs. So now if I take this Kangen water and I pour it right here on this tea bag, immediately you see tea. And you go, well, what is that about? If you guys are anything like me, I said the same thing. I said it's because the tea bag was wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tea bag out right here. I'm going to squeeze off the water, right? And I'm going to take the tea bag, I'll put it right here. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour the smart water right back on it. And technically what should have happened was we should have had tea, because it's not the tea bag's fault. But you can see here there's still a little bit of tea in there. But what I want you to show you is this. If this is the current water that you're drinking, and this is the Kangen water, and it's pouring the tea out, pulling the tea out of your body, or the waste out of your body, or putting nutrition in, however you want to look at that. What is the difference? I say roughly 30%, but I say the real difference is this is health and this is sickness. Because if you got 30% of junk inside your body, you're going to be in pain. You're going to suffer. You're going to be on medication. It's going to have some health issues. So now what I'm going to do is take the same tea bag, pour it on here, and all of a sudden you have tea again. Well, like I said before, I'm not here to sell you anything. But for people that are interested in health and people that are interested in truly figuring out what works, you're not going to be able to see it through the bottle, because when you look at all the waters, they're all clear. I'm not talking about what you can see. I'm talking about what you cannot see. The science in this water is absolutely phenomenal. It's been amazing in my health and also in my parents' health. Just please, please, please take a look at how this can help you. Because the reality of it is, first of all, if you're drinking this water, it's bad for you. It's bad for the planet and it's bad for the environment. So it's best for you to switch to stop drinking bottled water and start drinking something that doesn't hurt the environment or even yourself that way.